Well, let me throw out one fun-filled fact. In 2023, because of the open border and the fentanyl and meth, the overdose death rate topped 112,000 persons ages 18 to 45 in a 12-month period for the first time, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So consequently, the leading current death cause for persons ages 18 to 45 is drug overdose. It's murdering our kids. And then there's the young kids, we don't even know where they went. They're forced into sex slavery or child slavery rings and just total horrible torture and suffering. All parents and all people with a conscience should be outraged and calling on Congress to track down these kids. So while I was doing my research, which I know that's boring to most people, but and with my background in law enforcement, when those two officers were attacked by several the NYPD officers that were attacked in the street after these suspects had been committing mass store robberies and takeovers, and these poor officers, I can't even imagine how they felt, but with being pummeled and kicked in the head and body by these suspects, I'm like, this isn't a coincidence. This looked planned. This looked organized. And initially, I have to say, the news media, I could be wrong, but the news media did not report that it was a specific new gang. And then the New York Post, they're awesome. I'm very impressed with the New York Post. They identified a new gang that's the Venezuelan prison gang of 5,000 strong were released from that prison in Aragua. And they planned their crimes targeting citizens over here. These New York street crimes of mopeds and dragging people down on the street and stealing their cell phones, that's this new gang, the Tren de Aragua. Ironically, these two new NYPD officers, being warriors and heroes and trying to get the old school catching the bad guys, these two officers saw the suspect on a moped and they tried to pull him over. There was a pursuit, and then the suspect had an unregistered moped, but he had an unregistered gun, and he shot the two officers. Thank God both officers survived. They are heroes to me. In this gang, the New York Post again identified that they're hooking up with the notorious MS gang, who's brutal and vicious, chopping people up with machetes. But yeah, that's what's coming over our open border right now. And obviously, the suspects plan their crimes before they come over, and they are not seeking asylum. I'm sorry. To me, when the media fails to report that they're illegal immigrants, that is wrong. I call that, that's not accurate. That's not accurate information. It's simple. If you're breaking our country's laws, by definition, you're breaking the law. When you enter this, from the moment you step into this country illegally and not reporting for a screening at a designated port of entry along the border, this is the essence of illegal.
Yeah.
And there are federal statutes. Title 8 of the U.S. Code, Section 1325, defines illegal alien entry as 1, entering at a time or place other than designated by migration officers. 2, entering via willingly false or misleading representation presented to the immigration officers. Or 3, eluding inspection by immigration officers. Well, there you go. I would call them illegal. And then, of course, we have, because of the open borders, the tragic case of 22-year-old Laken Riley. The media has called our illegal immigrants as undocumented. And I love this one. Migrants or newcomers. They're newcomers.
Wow.
So another program of deceit on the part of the government is DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But my definition is division. It's us against them. Yeah. Perception or exclusion at the expense of equal rights of another group, or intrusion of the government to gain overall power over our individual freedom and rights. It's a hypocrisy of truth and justice in our American way. And then another representation of the twisted silent agenda, and this is the township of Connecticut, Wethersford City Council, just within this last week, voted to remove the thin blue line flag that honored a fallen state trooper, Aaron Pelletier. The council, I verified the history on that flag when I saw what they did. The council misspoke on the meaning of the flag, stating it was recently created and used by white supremacist groups. Have you ever seen a white supremacist group fly our thin blue line?
No, never.
Never. The meaning of this flag, it was adopted in the 1950s. Okay, that's not recent to me. It was adopted by law enforcement professionals to represent their the courage and sacrifice of others who make the ultimate sacrifice while protecting the American people. It's an honor. And they're taking that away. And then the ultimate insult is they replaced the thin blue line flag with the LGBTQ flag. That's division and inequity to me. You're excluding law enforcement professionals' honor and sacrifice. So did you want to get into the topic of the rise on the college campuses of anti-Semitism? I mean, this is just shocking to me.
Yeah, by all means. Let's dive in. Yeah.
I didn't realize the hidden propaganda and brainwashing that was going on the college campuses, but and it's inclusive of the university presidents and professors. Some of these professors are encouraging it, and on campus they have groups that attend Students for Justice for Palestine. And anti-Zionist college campus groups that attend these anti-Israel protests. And this didn't just happen. This has been over a period of time of like 15, 20 years. It just really, I never knew that this movement was on our Ivy League campuses. And they're not peaceful protesters. These are paid activists that are busted. Over 60% are estimated to be not students. So they don't belong on these college campuses hanging out in tents. Does anyone agree that when they take over a campus and they break into buildings and they won't come out and they're asking and demanding clemency for, not being thrown out as a student, and they want food, and special food, like organic, vegan food. I'm like, are you kidding me? That kind of sends a message, honey, you're spoiled. You need to go back to mommy and daddy.
Hey, you're privileged.
But the violence and the defacing our history statues in front of Washington, D.C. and on campus, and it's not a quiet protester. It's violent. You can see the violence and the hatred. And they fly the flags of jihad and Hamas, and from the river to the sea, promoting death and genocide of a certain race, a certain class. No one has the right to burn and vandalize and assault police officers and break the law and threaten and intimidate another group to where they can't even walk by and go to their class. And they label this as the oppressed against the oppressors as part of that brainwashing and misinformation of truth. So, we did touch on the diversity, the DEI, with the woke movement and the secret agenda of the socialism, Marxism, destroying our individual rights in American way. There's an agenda to keep the parents out of knowledge of what their kids are being taught. What parent doesn't want to know what their kid is being taught in school? That's disturbing. And I understand parents protesting that, and then being accused that what do they call that? Not racism, but they don't have a right to know what their kids are being taught. The government has the right.
Yeah.
No, there are doctors that are witnessing the kids, going through the chemical transition or the hormones,
Right.
and those medical facilities. There's one in Texas that's denying that they do that for these young kids. The doctors are saying, "Hey, we shouldn't be doing this before the age of 18, 19, 20, because it's irreversible. This is irreversible treatment." And these kids, the younger ones, they're too young to know, understand the choices and what's going on with their body. It's irrational, actually. And as a parent, our job is to protect our children. And they trust the school teachers, and they trust those figures, the role models, and the parents. So another interesting government-sponsored agenda program is Faith and In God We Trust. It's been systematically removed from our schools and our public events. And I was so, just researching this, I'm so amazed at the activities that seems to be accepted and overlooked, or that people they're not shocked. So Easter Sunday, Biden at the White House declared Transgender Day of Visibility, which coincides with Easter Sunday, one of our most treasured in our hearts Christian values, the symbolism of that day for Jesus Christ. And he declared this to honor the extraordinary courage and contributions of transgender Americans. And simultaneously at the White House, the gay rights symbolism was allowed, and our Christian symbolism was not allowed. We should be outraged. I wanted to discuss, in conclusion, bringing up some wisdom from our history and what our country was founded on. But one of my favorite leaders, is Winston Churchill. His saying, "Without courage, all other virtues become meaningless." But then another quote from legendary actor John Wayne on courage. And by the way, the courage is a huge theme with all of my research on leadership.
Right.
It's courage.
Yes.
General Norman Schwarzkopf, Stormin Norman, and and Colin Powell, that we can't be silent. We have to stand up. and not be silent. But John Wayne, he says, quote, "Tomorrow is the most important thing in life. It comes to us at midnight very clean. It's perfect when it arrives and it puts itself in our hands. It hopes we've learned something from yesterday. I'm responsible only for what I say, not for what you understand. Courage is being scared to death and settling up anyway," unquote. I like the settling up and being scared to death, because I have done that. I'm like, I'm going to die when I get back in the saddle, however. And Teddy Roosevelt quoted, "No man who is corrupt or who condones corruption in others can possibly do his duty by the community," unquote. This is the wisdom of our past leaders and our founding fathers. Abraham Lincoln, 1838, gave a speech in Springfield, Illinois, on political institutions with the subject of the evil of slavery. He quoted, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. Our greatest danger to the nation will not come from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedom, it's because we destroyed ourselves from the inside." How true is that? This is not a well-known historian, but Henry David Thoreau, 1849, speaking on civil disobedience, quote, "The best government is that which governs least." How does that sound? Another British historian, Lord Acton, one of the greatest historians of all time, according to my research, he had a theme of the history of liberty. He quoted, "The same moral values should be applied to all men, political and religious leaders included, especially since power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely." That's a famous line. And then Lord Acton also quoted, "Great men are almost always bad men, even when they exercise influence and not authority. Still more when you superadd the tendency or certainty of corruption by authority." Yeah, when it's applied to the present society we're looking at.
"I will protect and shield you with everything I got. I promise to risk my life for anyone. I promise to risk my life for most anyone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I promise to risk my life